Digimon Ghost Game's 47th episode brought armor evolution into Ghost Game with the anime debut of an old school armor form that was never seen in the anime but was known from the trading card game and video games. This is what would happen if Wormmon used the Digi-Egg of Courage, the one that turns Vmon into Flamedramon, but when used on Wormmon we get Shadramon, who gave us one of the most disturbing episodes of Digimon yet. There's also episode 46 to talk about because I was away last week. That saw the introduction of an entirely new Digimon, Oleamon, so we'll cover both episodes. I'll have timestamps in the video so you can navigate easily. Welcome back to the Digino. I only took a week off, but it feels like forever. I wanted to tell you that in case you didn't know, I do have a second channel and I uploaded not one but two videos there recently. The first is an interview with Daniel Dockery, the author of the new book Monster Kids. It's all about Pokemon, Digimon, Monster Rancher, and that cultural moment in the late 90s when monster taming shows took over the world. The second video is my first impressions on the new Bleach series. So if you're a fan of Bleach, you might dig that. I'll link to the second channel in the pinned comment and the description so you can easily find those videos if you're interested. Now, with all that out of the way, we have a lot to get to, so let's talk about episode 46, then 47. Kotaro is acting strange. He seems afraid of water, which makes him run away, screaming. Even on the following day, the sight of water still makes Kotaro tremble with fear. This worries Hiro, so with the help of his friends, he decides to investigate. There's a weird mark on the back of Kotaro's neck, and he's having visions of vines coming out of puddles and strangling him, tying his legs. He's so terrified of water, he can barely even bring himself to drink a glass of water. Even going to the bathroom is becoming an issue for the guy, and he hasn't taken a bath or showered in over 10 days. This character has been a real creep the whole season and pretty annoying at times, but I couldn't even really enjoy his misery this week because it was just kind of sad, like a disproportionate amount of punishment and suffering for this guy. When we finally see our villain of the week, she's serving Poison Ivy from DC. It's a new Digimon called Oleamon. Despite my final thoughts on this episode, which we will get to, I have to give props to Digimon for 2 weeks of back-to-back new Digimon reveals. Between Publimon, Oleamon, and all the Gamamon evolutions shown recently, the Digimon creators can't help themselves from releasing new monsters lately. Kotaro eventually gets out of bed and starts marching somewhere like a zombie. He goes to a rundown and abandoned market with a hair salon and a supermarket. The Digimon Oleamon is grooming Kotaro in the most literal sense, cutting his hair, shaving his body. It's incredibly disturbing, and eventually she reveals her plan is to devour him. The team battle her, she defeats them, then Jimba and Wormmon baits her by telling her that there are better ways to extract flavors and fragrances out of foods, out of humans, Kotaro in this case. Once freed and with her guard down, they're able to get her into the AR field for round 2 with no need to worry about Kotaro since he was not transported to this world. Like the other week, we have more of Hiro's dad Hokuto involved in accidentally inspiring the Digimon villain of the week. Once she's been defeated, Hiro asks Oleamon why she even wanted to cook humans since clearly there aren't any in the digital world, so she has no history of this behavior. This is like a new thing. She says she met a human in the digital world who she served one of her specialties to. He made the joke that the smell of her food was interesting and that people smell just like this when they don't take a bath for a long time. She says to us, the audience, and to Hiro, once I heard the delicious story, how could I not try eating a human when I got here? It's a weird stretch of a story. I guess she equated the taste of her food with the smell, and since humans can smell like that when they don't shower, she thought that they would taste just like her food. At the end, Oleamon gets her own cooking show, which really watched on her computer, and certainly interesting. It's certainly something. I guess viewers are just assuming she's like a strange woman in a Halloween costume or something like that. Weird, underwhelming ending for me. Everything from Hokuto's involvement to this cooking show on Twitch or whatever that was. I left this episode with similar feelings and thoughts to when I left episode 44, the one with Antilamon, where Hiro's dad told them that their skills to create anything would be adored by humans. It was an episode that felt incredibly inconsequential, and while not every episode needs to change the game for Ghost Game, this one felt a little too much like the Agitarmon episode with Yuto back in episode 24, even similar to episode 26, the twist where Digitamamon had been eating humans, and it even felt a bit like episode 21, the Arukenimon episode, with kind of a mysterious and seductive older woman as the mysterious villain. It shared DNA with all of those episodes, but the problem is I think each one of those was a superior episode on its own compared to this one. Not horribly offensive, but let's just say there's a reason I didn't release a solo video on this episode last week. I had much higher hope for episode 47 though, based on the preview, because I thought I spotted a couple familiar Digimon, so let's talk about the latest episode. But before we do that, a quick word from the sponsor of this video. Bai is this online proxy service that lets you buy things directly from Japan scan through them and they ship it to you wherever you are in the world. They're the original sponsor of this channel. They reached out almost exactly a year ago, and I'm so glad they did because I've used them for anime merch like the Vital Bracelet dim cards. And just the other day, I even got this nice message on Twitter from a viewer who said they've been having fantastic results from Bai thus far. Through Bai, you can shop on Japanese storefronts like Rakuten, Mercari, Amazon JP, just see a ton of games and exclusive merchandise. You buy whatever you want and Bai will handle getting it shipped to you. No need for a Japanese address, no need to understand Japanese, they'll take care of it. If you sign up to Bai with the link in this video's description, you'll get a 2,000 yen coupon for your first order. There's a ton of store exclusive deals and added promos all the time, so I personally like logging in once a week just to see what promos they have. Once again, head to the link in my description for the 2,000 yen coupon. Thanks again for sponsoring the video, Bai. Episode 47, Memory of Eternity. A voice whispers into the ear of Shadramon, who is afraid of returning to Digitama form and forgetting everything. It says, "I'll leave those memories for you." Soon after, Kiyoshiro realizes that something is wrong with his friend Tamotsu. This new human character Tamotsu is cool, and exploring Kiyoshiro's larger friend group again, like when we saw Emma a few weeks ago, is pretty fun, especially because this guy is also a huge anime fan like Kiyoshiro. Emma was a bit cooler. They're talking about how he's been unable to keep up to date with anime and how Kiyoshiro has to be careful with spoilers in light of that. And then when we go to his room, he has those wall scroll posters of idols in his room. Total weeb. Love it. We want Mummymon to examine Tamo because he's been acting strange, but there's a voice in his head telling him not to see the doctor. Shadramon is such a cool Digimon design. It's Wormmon with the Digi-Egg of Courage, as I mentioned at the top of the video, the egg that turns Vmon into Flamedramon, and you can totally see it in this design. This is the closest I think we're going to get to seeing Flamedramon or Vmon in Ghost Game, and it's got to make Armor Evolution fans like Karn EX super excited to see these Armor Evolutions animated. I know I was incredibly excited to see this form. Mummymon feels that Shadramon is trying to defy the very laws of Digimon nature, staying alive through a human. It is simply a fact that when Digimon die, they turn back into Digitama with no memories of their past life, and here is Shadramon refusing to let the cycle of rebirth happen to it, latching onto a human in order to stay alive, and Mummymon has no idea what will happen because nothing like this has ever occurred or been covered in any medical textbook. At a certain point in the episode, the Shadramon parts that have up until this point been these hologram forms poking out of Tamotsu, they eventually become fully realized non-holograms, and it's literally as if there are body parts of a Digimon bursting out of this human teenager's body. It's absolutely disgusting. Tamotsu is unconscious, I guess because of the pain or just the sheer horror, and it's a nightmare situation for both the human and the Digimon, who didn't want this either. Espimon is in this episode, and he comes in handy in a new way this week with a search mode function that detects the tiny nanomon inside Shadramon's ear calling the shots this week. So we have two villains. It's not just Shadramon being purely evil. He's been manipulated into this promise of immortality that came at a great cost. Nanomon begins to explain its master plan, quote, "I tried to regenerate a Digimon with their old memories by using a human's body. I created a memory seed, then I digitized a random human spirit, planted a memory seed, and only had to wait for the Digimon to grow. If I can succeed in this experiment, then I can be reborn over and over again while retaining memories. My intelligence and existence would surpass the gods. I would be able to live forever." This is all incredibly eerie and very cool. I love this immortality angle that Nanomon is trying to achieve through these twisted experiments. All while this is happening, something weird is going on with Hiro's Digivice Vital Bracelet, kind of flashing, blinking twice, although I don't think this actually went anywhere in the finale of the episode. Correct me if I'm wrong, but we cut to it twice. His Digivice was blinking on and off like it was objecting to whatever was happening with Tamotsu and Shadramon. Soon after, Mummymon gets involved in the final fight, which is great. We haven't seen him get his hands dirty and participate in battle since episode 2 when he was the enemy. After a short fight, Tedismon uses teleportation to pull Shadramon out, only for him to immediately digitize and pass on. So he's basically pulled out of Tamotsu's body. Mummymon says it's for the best, and he's not wrong, but as Shadramon is digitizing, he's screaming no on the way out instead of, accepting that this is his time or that he'll be reborn. It was incredibly dark. He's going back to a Digitama, which is the very nature of being a Digimon. If the episode simply ended with Tedismon separating them with magic teleportation, I would be way more critical of this quick and convenient resolution that happened, but it wasn't a happy ending. The fact that we immediately got a dark outcome with the separation instantly causing Shadramon to digitize and die was really great. I know great is a weird word to describe after saying something died, but it was great television. We then get another Black Tailmon sighting, which frankly is meaningless at this point until the show decides to tell us more about what is going on with Black Tailmon or what its intentions are. But Hiro gives Black Tailmon a new letter for his dad. This time at least he tells us that it's just a collection of his thoughts on the last few encounters with Digimon to tell his dad how he's been feeling. I'm glad he told us, the audience, that at least, because now I don't have to speculate and dive into comments and theories about what this mysterious letter could have meant. We just know it was a casual chat between father and son, I guess. Episodes like 46 and 44 are tough ones for me. They leave me with little to say and questioning whether this show is inherently meant to be covered in a weekly format like the way I do cover it. But then an episode like 47 comes along that is so twisted and unique and is really just a great Digimon short story that it reminds me why I love Digimon, why I cover Ghost Game, and why this show still has kept my attention for nearly 50 weeks, giving us an old school armor evolution we've been waiting decades to see in the anime, plus a twisted story about a Digimon trying to defy the established Digimon rules we've basically known to be true since 1999, that Digimon turn into Digitama when their time comes. It was a super compelling 22 minutes of anime. That's all for me. I'll wrap it up here because I think it's already a long video, but let me know what you thought about 46 and especially 47. That's the one that I really think is thought-provoking and should result in some great discussion. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. I should have those extra Digino 02 videos in the description. They might even be on screen depending on what platform you're using to watch this right now. Have a great week. Take care, and I'll see you in the next episode.